All right, time right now is 5:12. Longtime Republican Senator Chuck Grassley has won another term in office. This is now his 8th term in the United States Senate. The incumbent overcomes a tough challenge from Democrat Mike Franken. And as many of you are waking up to this outcome, this is an all-important election. So here to break down some of the big races at the federal level as well as here in Iowa is our good friend Steffen Schmidt. He's an emeritus political science professor at Iowa State. Steffen, so good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you, Chanu.
All right, so we're going to dive right into this race between Senator Chuck Grassley and his challenger, Mike Franken. Even though Grassley is projected to win this race, he did face a tough fight from Franken. Can you kind of break that down for us and just tell us why this may have been such a tough fight for Franken?
Well, it was interesting because, of course, Senator Grassley has been in politics since Eisenhower administration. He's very old, and there was a lot of concern about that. So I think a lot of people, when they were asked in the polls, kind of said, well, you know, maybe we need somebody new. And Franken had a fantastic campaign. He stayed away from really intensive, high-powered issues that would set off voters and kind of stuck to a comforting message. And he did come very close. It was a surprise. Of course, he lost, but...
And Steffen, do you think there may be any changes to how Senator Grassley will serve Iowans for this 8th term, or do you think it's just going to be consistent to what he's always stuck true to?
No, I think he's got a great connection in all the counties. He goes around and eats ice cream in all the 99 counties, and his feet have been on the ground, and I think he won't change much. I mean, by the time you're 90 years old, you're not going to change a lot of things that you're doing. One of the things, of course, is if the Republicans control the Senate, he will be the third in line to succession after the president and vice president. He will be the president of the Senate, and that's, you know, a pretty heavy load to carry. So that'll be interesting to see.
And of course, this was one of the bigger races in Iowa that we all have been keeping an eye on. But what were other congressional races, Steffen, that caught your eye during this election?
Well, you know, there were some races, for example, in New Hampshire, where Maggie Hassan, who is the incumbent senator, was challenged by a very conservative supporter of Donald Trump and Don Bolduc, who there was a concern because the polls were closing up on her. She won that, and I think the Democrats were relieved at that. The other one, obviously, was in Pennsylvania with Fetterman versus Dr. Oz, which was a nail-biter. Fetterman had all kinds of problems after his stroke, and he won that particular race, Senate race, so that was interesting. One of the governor races that I was fascinated with was Massachusetts, where generally a Republican has been the governor, and it's not a Republican state. Well, this time around, Maura Healey, who is, first of all, a woman, second of all, gay, won that substantially against Jeff Deal. And that's a first. She's the first lesbian woman or gay woman to be a governor. Wow. And now a Democrat is going to be the governor and not a Republican male. So that was something I thought that was sort of historic and quite interesting.
Yeah, so lots of obviously very important races all around the country that you've been keeping an eye on. Steffen, we'll check back in with you in a little bit here to talk about some more races.